And good afternoon. Hey, Jagjeet, it's great to see you.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for having me on your show.
And how does it feel? We're down at Sepang, the Sepang International Circuit for the GT World Challenge Asia. How does it feel to be back at the racetrack?
To me, it's just another race weekend. I mean, I've been coming here since the circuit opened, really. Yeah, but good to see new drivers, young drivers especially, making a name for themselves. So it's always good to see something new.
Because I mean, you've been involved in Malaysian motorsport for quite a while, right?
Yes, I have my whole life, really. I mean, I'm 51 this year, so that's a long time.
And what have you been involved? Have you been a driver, a racer yourself, or have you been more on the management mechanic side of things?
I've practically done it all. Okay, so when I was young, the reason I got into motorsport and why I say my whole life is because my father used to race. So at a very young age, I was taught to work on race cars and what a racing team is all about. I was given a task and stuff like that. So the first 20 years of my life was basically centered around racing and racing teams, and then I got into rallying as a driver, and the next 20 years of my life was spent in rallying. And then I retired quite early, quite sort of, because I wanted to organize events. So it was like there was, to me, I saw a need for more user-friendly events, as in like grassroots racing or grassroots rallying or whatever, grassroots events, motorsport events. So I hung up the steering wheel to start organizing events. I've been doing it happily ever since, and currently I manage and I run a team that competes in gymkhana overseas. So there's the gymkhana Asia Pacific Championship, and there's also one coming up, which is the World Motorsports Games by FIA. They have a Gymkhana category newly introduced. So my focus now is Gymkhana. I'm still around. I mean, I still support racing. Either I'm a steward for the Motorsports Association of Malaysia, or like today, I'm here to support the team. So I'm here as a member of the media, taking photos, talking to people, and finding out what's going on, and just helping them spread whatever news and views and stuff like that on my Facebook page. So
Okay, and whereabouts is the venue for the Gymkhanas here in Malaysia? Because is it still down at the where was the big car park place?
Shah Alam, that's where it started basically. Drifting in Gymkhana started at the Shah Alam Stadium car park.
Okay, but was it the what was the other place? Mayaps? Maya?
Yes, but that came along later. Maps, yes,
Okay.
that came along later. But Shah Alam is it's where everything started when drifting and Gymkhana came along back in 99, 2000.
Yeah.
So that's where it started. But now it's all over the country, so that's a good thing.
Oh, right. So it's not just at Sepang or Shah Alam now. You're taking it to different areas of Malaysia.
Yes. So there've always been events, different areas of Malaysia, including East Malaysia, Sabah, and Sarawak. But they've always been like events which very lonely. I would call them lonely because nobody knew each other. The organizers did not know each other. The drivers definitely did not know each other. So I kind of got everybody together, and like East Malaysians have been coming to West Malaysia to compete, and likewise West Malaysians going to East Malaysia, and that makes it easier for me to choose a driver when I take them overseas, because when we go overseas, it's country versus country. So obviously I need the best drivers from Malaysia, and I need to be at those events to see who's good enough. Then I kind of scout them, and I call selected drivers over to a selection event, and I pick the best of the best.
Okay. And how long is the Malaysian Championship? Are you
They
running it as a championship? Or?
That's the thing. Okay, good question. We've never had an official Malaysian Gymkhana Championship. We have like something like 15 events a year, which is not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad either. So planning with the MAM to actually organize a proper championship, hopefully starting next year.
Okay, right. And then somehow that's connected to the international or the world gymkhana
Yes,
championships.
that's true.
Oh wow.
So different names in different countries, but it's basically the same thing. So like in the UK, I think they call it auto test, and some countries they call gymkhana, autokana, but they're basically the same thing. So point A to point B, you have cones. So they're not run in on racetracks, or at least they don't need to be.
Mm,
Although in Japan they do. So it's just a matter of knowing how to make handbrake turns. There's some drifting involved, figure eight turns, 180, 360s, donuts. You would need skills that's needed in rallying, drifting, and also racing because you need to get your lines right.
right. Okay. So we can soon call you Jagjeet Singh, the king of Malaysian gymkhana.
Well, not because as a driver, I'm not. I mean, I've retired as a driver, but I am trying to bring people up. So basically, I'm giving, I'm a creator of opportunities
Right.
in this sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, great. And I've noticed, and just talking, if you could talk a little bit lower, but I've been noticing recently in the past several months that you're getting involved with electric cars. You're doing something with electric.
Yeah. Okay. So all that started when I back in what 2010, 2011, I was very interested in biofuels. So we had a team. Um, we ran biodiesel rally cars. One biodiesel rally car and another was bioethanol, so biofuels. But back then in Malaysia, it wasn't a big thing, so nobody really paid attention to what I was doing. But I did it anyway. You know, it's a good avenue to learn. Then in 2019, I was approached by a government agency asking me if I would be interested in a project that they were coming up with, which involves hydrogen. So obviously, I jumped at the chance, and it wasn't just hydrogen as fuel, but it was hydrogen electric.
Mm,
So to me, it's a no-brainer. So I said yes, and they got me on the project, and we spent the whole of 2019 setting up and equipment and testing and whatnot. So all this actually relates to road cars, road going cars, nothing to do with motorsport.
right.
But me being a motorsport person, I told them, I'm sorry, I have to link this to motorsport. Are you okay with that? And they said, yeah, why not? So they asked me how, and I gave them the obvious answer. Motorsport is R&D.
Mm,
So if you fit the equipment, I mean, hydrogen fuel cells, electric components, electric kits, and stuff like that. If you fit it into a road car, we
mm,
can't do road testing without. We can't do road testing safely.
mm,
We need approvals from different agencies, road transport department, the police, and all that. But if we fit all these components into a motorsport vehicle, we can just take the motorsport vehicle out to a track, and we can do whatever testing that's necessary. I mean, it's still a motorsport vehicle. So what I did was I used my own car, which was a Super 7 kit car, removed the engine, added in, but replaced the engine with a electric kit, right? And added on hydrogen components to it. And we did our testing. So, well, they're happy with my suggestion of
mm.
using motorsport. And they've actually allowed me to continue with that.
Right.
So it started off as using motorsport as an R&D, but now I'm actually going to use these vehicles that we have in motorsport itself, starting with Gymkhana.
Right.
And the beauty about Gymkhana is at the highest level, at the FIA World Motorsport Games, the vehicles that are going to be used or supplied in that event are electric cars. So
Ah,
it's just nice because top level electric cars, and what I'm doing here now in Malaysia, entry level electric cars.
right.
So you see the connection. So it's a good
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, it worked out in my favor actually.
Are you at the forefront in Malaysia of doing this? Is there anyone else
I am
doing
the
this?
only one. Yes, I was the only one dabbling into biofuels
Mm,
10 years ago. Well, some were kind of impressed or they understood what I did.
yeah.
Most of them just laughed at me. It's like, why are you doing this? It's like, just what are you getting out of it?
Right.
So to me, it's I learn. I never know. We never know when education comes in helpful. So
Mm,
and you never know when you may need skills like this. And sure enough, now because of what I did 10 years ago, it's kind of relevant. So I know what's going on. I know where the world is heading with regards to biofuels or greener fuels, if you will, right?
mm.
Low carbon emissions. So I'm happy to say I started early. I started when nobody else started, and now because I'm experienced, people are coming to me and asking me to join the projects and stuff like that, or have projects with them. So yeah.
And how are you getting any support locally from any government agencies or
Yeah,
anything?
so the government agency that I'm working at, uh, they fund me. They
Okay.
fund me. It's a lot of work. I mean, we don't just spend money doing nothing. So there is an end goal. But like I said
Well,
earlier,
it is
so
motorsport. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
money
So
to
so
do
like I
nothing.
said, so motorsport was never part of the picture.
Right.
If that worked with somebody else, motorsport would not be in there. But
Mm.
motorsport is a big part of my life. So anything I do, I try to include motorsport. So that's why you see me dabbling into electric cars, but also motorsport. So I'm like bringing electrification of vehicles into motorsport, cars and bikes.
And what is